Hey folks, thank you for tuning into David's Life and Observation with your host David Welch. Today's show is about a video that surfaced, I think today or yesterday, I can't recall, but a young man, 16 years old in Fresno, California, who was murdered by police, shot in the back of the head, because in some mystical fantasy land, that officer feared for his life because a 16-year-old kid hopped a fence and had the audacity to have his hands down near his waistband. So, kid, 16 years old, trying to evade law enforcement, which is wrong, was whooping the ass in a foot race, and he was murdered for it. When you're a cop and you're pursuing a suspect, anytime they reach for their waistband or their pockets, at least in the videos that I've seen lately, especially with the Mesa PD incident, people aren't normally reaching for a gun. A lot of people don't have firearms as much as the law enforcement wants to believe. No gun was ever retrieved with the kid. They didn't have time to plant one. But he was reaching down. He was reaching to pull his waist up. He was reaching down to pull his waistband up because when you're a wannabe gangster like a lot of kids are these days, they sag their pants and they can't run for shit. This kid was pretty quick, but he's also 16, lot less lactic acid, and the cops that were pursuing were laden down with gear. Again, not an excuse to kill the kid, not an excuse to shoot him in the back of the head because in some mystery fantasy land you feared for your life. That is hogwash. That is murder. The cop involved and then the cover-up involved with trying to suppress this information that has just been released, but it happened a while ago in Fresno, and it's just amazing that it's just how it is the last couple of years. We have law enforcement in this country who, for some odd reason, feel that if at any point in time they become in fear for their lives, they can just say, oh, that gives them carte blanche to just murder you and your whole family for having hands in the pockets or for having the audacity to not wear a belt that day and pull your pants up. It needs to be to the point where if you come in contact with law enforcement, it is almost better to shoot first and take your chances with the court than it is to interact with them. Now, that's going to get you locked up. That's going to get you in jail or prison because you've got to assess the situation. In that kid's situation, running was stupid. Should it have cost him his life? No. But it was stupid. In most situations, running from law enforcement is stupid. And I say most because there is time, place, and manner. If you have a series of officers who have already made an attempt on your life, fleeing is not a bad idea. If you have officers that are conspiring to violate your rights and throw you in a cage for no reason and stack a bunch of charges that don't make sense just because they don't like what you stand for, they don't like who you are, or they don't like that you don't comply immediately with their every wish and want, that might be a good situation in order to flee if you have ample time to get away from them. Again, anytime you flee law enforcement, you're putting yourself in peril. But that should not be the case. If you're running away and a law enforcement officer shoots you in the back, and then they go on and find that you had no weapon and that you have no firearm at all, then that cop should automatically do 15 to 20 years in prison. And a lot of people are going to naysay and they'll be like, oh, well, you don't know if he had a gun. I'm sorry, but in this case, the kid didn't have a gun, nor was he reaching in his waistband for a gun. He was pulling his pants up. Now, officers often shoot because they can't win that foot race. They don't want the suspect to get away, so they'll say anything. Oh, well, you know, the kid is running, and when you're running, sometimes your hand drops by your wayside. That doesn't give them justification to shoot. Those Fresno officers, especially the one that murdered the kid, should hang by the neck until he's dead. I honestly believe that. I don't even see why he should get 20 years in prison. I honestly think he should be hung in the middle of the street. Now, a lot of people are throwing that word around, lynching. Lynching literally means someone subverting the law. Lynching has been given negative connotations by hanging someone without due process. And that's exactly what should happen in this case when it came to that officer. He's had the due process. He know he committed murder. He know he shot that kid in the back of the head who had no firearm. He knew it. He knows it. So he's had 2 years or a year and a half to reconcile the fact that he murdered a kid, and he should be hung. The due process is there. We're given the information we need. The video is all the information we need. I don't give a shit if he was running away from law enforcement. I don't give a shit if they perceive that he had a firearm, which he didn't. Until you see the brandishing of the weapon, until you see that kid hold a firearm in his hands, he did not make an attempt to brandish a firearm. Have your guns at the ready, which all of them did, but make a serious considered effort to make sure that if he does have a weapon, you at least give him an opportunity to drop said weapon. Now, if he turns and fires on you, it's a different story. You can have that gun battle. You can shoot because you're wearing body armor. You're also armed with 15 of your buddies running behind you. They're not likely to sit there and camp out and shoot because they know it's not a win that they're going to have. But we've gotten to the point where, like I said, it's almost safer to shoot the cops first in this country instead of dealing with them. Now, that's just an opinion. I'm not saying go do that. I'm not saying that should be your policy. But if they're at your door, or you're getting pulled over for something that you know you didn't do, you absolutely. Now, when it comes to the traffic infractions, it's a little bit different story. Traffic infractions, go to court, always have a dash camera, always record. That way you can just prove in court that he perjured information, he lied, and then pursue a civil rights lawsuit afterwards. That's a little bit easier. Different story though if you're walking on the street and they're trying to violate your rights and detain you for no crime and trying to ID you. It's a little bit different story. In that situation, they are trying to subvert your rights, and you are absolutely in your right to defend yourself if they do try to violate your rights. Same goes with them trying to enter your premises. If they do not have a warrant. Now, a search warrant for a person and a search warrant for items is two different search warrants. A search warrant for the house is for the house. Even if they have a warrant for a person's arrest and they happen to be in there, it's not carte blanche for them to break into your home and grab that person. Nope. It's not how the law works. They need a search warrant to search inside the home. Now, if they can call a judge real quick, which they can get in minutes, all they have to say is, hey, the person we want's in the house, and we believe that they have narcotics, things like that. We don't want them to flush those narcotics. You can get a warrant in minutes because you're able to prove to the judge, hey, this person's in the home. We know he's a known dealer. There's a warrant for that person's arrest. Then you have two warrants to serve. You have the search warrant and you have the warrant for the arrest. Get those ahead of time. That's my recommendation to law enforcement. And then what law enforcement fails to do every time they do have a warrant is show the warrant. They don't show the warrant. They don't allow people to read the warrant, because then people would read and understand how bogus that bullshit is and where that information came from and which judge signed the warrant. They don't want you to know what judge signed the warrant, because judges and cops are in the good old boy system. They're the do as I say, not as I do motherfuckers who constantly want to have each other's back, so to speak. It blew up in their face in Houston, and it has in Chicago several times. But it's not being caught everywhere. But that's exactly what happens. Is the judge doesn't even look at the information; he just signs the warrant. Judges more often than not give the cops the benefit of the doubt, even though they may be lying or their informant's full of shit. Or sometimes they even lie about the informant. It happens all the time. They will do anything in their power to throw you in a cage. They will do anything in their power to subvert your rights and cost you money, time, and effort. When it comes to other news, when it comes to the impeachment, so Democrats, this is why you motherfuckers lose elections, and this is why nobody wants to vote for you this upcoming election. You're probably going to have another Republican, or Donald's going to keep his seat. When you do backhanded, closed-door shit, a coup to get President Donald Trump impeached without Republicans being in the House, that's exactly what you did. You did a coup. And it's not working out because Republicans are rushing in there to mitigate the vote. That's some backhanded, underhanded shit. If a president's bad enough, the Republicans will agree, and they'll fucking cast their vote. But impeach him for what? Again, I asked that question. What grounds do you have to impeach the President of the United States? Did he have his dick sucked by Monica Lewinsky in office and lie about it? No. Did he collude with the Russians? Haven't been able to prove it. There's been no proof. You guys have been on a witch hunt for 4 fucking years. No proof. You guys have come up with butkus. Now, do you guys keep sniping the people in his administration? Yeah. And good for you. You're catching some dirtbags. Good job. But at the same time, when it's your ticket up and you got Democrats in the House, Republicans are going to fuck you guys up just the same. And this back and forth with the emotions and the policies of America over politics on who you want in the House or not is going to tear the House apart. It's going to tear the entire country apart. And we've already seen that. We've already seen the extreme left and the extreme right wage war in the streets in places like Portland, North Carolina, Florida, places where you have the diehard right, which is very fascistic in nature. They're pro-gun, which is what I like. They're pro-Constitution as long as it favors them. They don't want the Democrats to have free speech. They don't want the freedom of religion because they only endorse Christianity and their brand of Christianity. And they absolutely enjoy a police state because it doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect them the way it affects you and me. They want the people ruled with an iron fist. Now the extreme left, exact same way. They're social justice warriors to the extreme, where they want you to be okay with illegal aliens in this country not being held accountable. In fact, their whole idea of accountability should have gone up with Hillary. She should have been in prison instead of running for an election. She should have been in prison for the whole Benghazi thing. When you knowingly and willingly destroy evidence to cover up your crime, that in itself is a crime. At least she should have done jail time, in my opinion. But Democrats, you're not doing yourself any favors, and you do have the extreme left, Antifa, who stand for anti-fascist, but themselves are fascist. in nature because they want to snuff the speech of the Christian right. They want to make it acceptable for the LGBTQ community to do whatever it is they want, wherever they want, whenever they want. I'm sorry, but that's not gonna be okay with the huge vast majority of Americans. Now, I don't have problems with the LGBT community in movies, doing art, doing porn, even doing a whole bunch of things. But when they are in the streets and they're blocking traffic, and if you're protesting without a permit, now you don't need a permit to protest. You don't need permission, but what you do need to block city roads and to disrupt business or commerce are permits, are times and hours you're going to be doing your protest. That way, businesses have the heads up, and the city streets and workers are clear so you can do your protesting. Now, yeah, the whole shock and awe of being in the streets and stuff when you're not supposed to comes with the hazard of what you saw in a video recently where a man. Now, I didn't see the other video. I only saw one angle, but it looked like he was attacking people who were protesting Mill Street. I have learned that that's not the case, that the guy was attacked first. Somebody put hands on him first. And I'm sorry, if I'm walking by and you're doing your protest, somebody puts hands on me, you're probably going to get the same treatment. You're probably going to get a very furious Dave, and I'm probably going to put hands on you. And yeah, he took their banner, crumpled it up, threw it over a fucking fence, and then he told them to get out of the road. At that point, they're committing a crime. I don't have a problem with the guy doing that. Now, him going beyond extra by destroying their property, putting hands on people, threatening, making threats like threatening to harm people, to do violence. Yeah, that's extra. That's beyond your ability to defend yourself. That's beyond your ability to secure your person from whatever the fuck's going on. And at that point, yeah, he should be jailed for committing violence against others. Do the protesters need to be jailed too? Absolutely, because they were violent too, and from all reports they started it. So the Antifa, the far right, and the Proud Boys. Now, not all the Proud Boys, not all Antifa are violent. Some of them are doing peaceful protests or engaging in their First Amendment constitutionally protected right to free speech in an open forum. Absolutely, they should be able to exchange ideas, even if it's unpopular ideas, with people as much as they want. But we've seen time and again where they've engaged in fisticuffs, and it's gotten to the point where the police are like, fuck it, I'm just going to let you guys handle your business in the middle of the street. And then you have situations where people are literally hunted down for blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks by people of the opposition. And at that point, if it's me, if I'm with my child, so there's a video out there where there's a Proud Boy with his child, and he's teaching his son about the First Amendment. I get it. But when you have your son out there and there are volatile people out there willing to do harm to you and your son, it's not a very safe place for him. But at the same time, that guy should have absolutely been packing heat. And if people are going to run up on me to do violence against me and my son, I'm gunning them down. They have no sympathy for me. You're trying to subvert my rights. You're trying to do me harm. I'm going to defend myself. And if you get gunned down in the process, too fucking bad. Just the way it goes. When it comes to cop lovers like Mike the Cop and Brandon Tatum, people of that ilk, they're people. Those two are so fucking bought into the police state that they will literally say or do anything to endorse it. They will never naysay against their brothers, even though there are bad cops out there making it harder for people in that profession to do their jobs properly, to do it safely, and time and again they're going to endorse the fact that one officer killed somebody, and they will literally say anything to justify it. So if you watch those channels, Mike the Cop, or you see Brandon Tatum out there, those dudes are back the blue 100%. They will never go against the green because they are former law enforcement. They won't naysay against their brethren. Um, they will literally watch the same videos you and I watch and come up with every justification in the book as to why they call it a good shoot, or why that person deserved to be murdered at the hand of cops. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree that they should have this unyielding determination to vindicate and validate every one of the cop shootings that occur out there on the wire, when the courts have time and again ruled against their opinion, ruled against the fact that law enforcement has overstepped their bounds in a grip of situations and murdered people wantonly. But you'll never see him naysay. Brandon Tatum, I mean, that guy is a guy who says he's open for debate. And we'll see. I'm going to hit him up on Instagram, and I will love to debate him. The things that I would debate Brandon Tatum about literally are the state of law enforcement in today's day and age, because they love saying that shit constantly, today's day and age. And how, not just how they're perceived by the public, but give him actual facts about gun deaths by police, homicides in general, to the public versus the ratio of law enforcement that's killed by the public. That's one of the statistics that's highly obtuse. It's proven time and again, year after year, that most law enforcement die because of vehicle accident versus gun death. And it's also, I'm also going to challenge him about the fact that perjury is never pursued in the courts. I'm also going to challenge him on the fact that it's not just a few bad apples, it's an entire culture of policing that is morbidly obtuse and grotesque. And it's the wannabe alpha male culture. It's the motherfuckers that never graduated college culture, that they don't have enough training, they don't have enough schooling, they don't have enough understanding of the law to properly enforce it, and they're going to defend themselves with saying, "Oh, we went to we do on-the-job training and we went to the police academy." Well, by and large, it's not enough anymore. We've gotten to the point where law enforcement officers are caught daily on camera catching cases all the time, or at least they should be caught catching cases with the shit you see. And if they're not, it's purely because the system they can't stand the load. They will do everything they can to buck off those cases. They'll come to a deal. They will do anything. The cities will come to all sorts of deals to not have the city dragged through the courts. But yeah, the gauntlet's going to be thrown soon. I just got to find his Instagram and get on there and challenge him to a debate here in Arizona somewhere where we can meet in an open forum and have an actual debate. Just like, I don't know about high school, but, maybe ASU, we can go borrow one of their conference rooms or something, or one of their auditoriums, have two podiums set up, and then talk about topics, talk about what we're going to talk about and what we're bringing to the argument, and then field questions by the student body. I think that would be a hell of a debate. I believe ASU is a perfect forum for that. I don't care if it's ASU, GCU, any of the colleges are perfect forums for that. Anywhere where we can get warm bodies in there, or maybe the Sandra Day O'Connor School of Law be a fantastic forum for that kind of debate. Either way, I'm down. It's something that I'm strongly ingrained in, and he can use whatever video, he can use my tweets and everything like that. I don't care. I stand 100% on my word of everything that I've ever said about law enforcement, how I feel about law enforcement, the direction law enforcement is going in this country. I 100% stand on that and will always defend my word on that. I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to come with facts, figures, information as readily available as I can find it. Do some digging and do whatever I can to provide a good context for my my debate. Now, going back to what we were talking about earlier, the kid getting shot in the back of the head. Last words on that. It's sad. It's so sad that this kid lost his life in Fresno to the Fresno police, who don't have any remorse. They don't care. They don't stay up. I'm guaranteed the guy doesn't stay up at night thinking about what he did, killing an unarmed kid. And there's no reason why. There's no reason why he should. In his mind, it's a justified shoot. He deserved to go down because his hand slipped to his waistband to pull up his pants. And in cops' eyes, that's dangerous. So, again, we live in a day and age where, like I said, if you're right, absolutely shoot first. If your rights are being violated, or they're trespassing and violating your Fourth Amendment right, or if they're going to put hands on you and they're doing all sorts of things, then yeah, shoot first, land the first punch, do whatever you can to escape. Escaping law enforcement is a treacherous prospect, but it's also something that may be needed. We've gotten to the point where we have several people who were citizens escape to different countries. Gavin Syme, prime example of a person who was relentlessly pursued by law enforcement to the point where he didn't feel safe staying in their custody because they were going to kill him. Snowden. Our government is really trying to get that dude. They are really trying to kill him. He comes back to the United States, is not going to live very long. Assange. He gets put in the U.S. jail system. He's not going to live very long. And it's just sad that you can't be critical of our government and blow the whistle on shit illegally that they're doing illegally, and then be safe in this country. It's sad. That's the only thing I would say to Trump. If I had a chance to talk to him, have a conversation with him, I'd say, you know what, pardon Assange of his crimes that you perceive are crimes. Pardon Snowden, allow him to come back into a country with open arms because he, blew the whistle on NSA spying programs. That's the best thing you could do as president. If you're going to have your coup d'etat, you want to make people real fucking happy, bring back Snowden. Watching Snowden on the Joe Rogan Experience was fucking awesome. I do recommend watching that. And again, thank you for tuning into David's Life and Observation. Today's show will probably be put on YouTube first. Again, please like, subscribe, comment on my video, and share it. Thank you.